Meet the Peterson family. Our dad, the three Peterson brothers, and our families farm together in central Kansas. Our family farm started in 1882 and has been raising cattle and crops ever since. Please subscribe to this channel and give us a like and a comment if you enjoy the video.
So I'm on chore duty, Sunday night chore duty by myself today. Craig, Nathan, Dad, and their families are out at Laura's daughter's birthday party. I've got a cow that I've been watching since the start of chores that's back here, and seems like she's starting to push. Before I take the feed truck down to my dad's to do the chores down there, I wanted to take a look at her, a little closer look, get her out of the pen so I can look at her by herself. So here she is. Her bag is filling up and she had mucus. Okay, I got her in the chute. Let's see what she looks like. I got my update. That cow was not as far along as I thought it was. I could feel the baby calf in there, but it was not about to come out. We need all the pens we can get, and so we are going to consolidate 2 pens of pairs and take the 6 or 7 that haven't calved and put them in a really small, kind of newly built pen, just a temporary hold them. Doing some spring cleaning, getting some junk hauled off to town. Instead of a pile of junk on your farm, you get a couple $100. There's an old bunk my mom had. Well, my mom and dad had some hogs when they first moved here. She grew up on a hog farm, if you didn't know that. They have a little bit of infrastructure left. That was all worn out. The bottom was all rusted. They're letting that triticale. They're out of water though. My dad doesn't ever remember a year where these ponds dried all the way up. And they're both bone dry. Big ponds.
Hey, Kobe.
What a morning. Hey, come on, hey. Shh. So, we are sorting steers. 2 weeks ago, we sold steers at 860 and they weren't very, full. So they probably had the flush to weigh, They probably had the flush to weigh 875 or 9 easy. So I'm thinking if we sort these, we'll get a group over 850 again. So here's the cattle we had 90 days on feed that are not ready to sell yet. So they're going to be backed up with the cattle that we had on feed for 70 to 80 days. Time to take these cattle out of the pen. Got to open up this pen for when we fence line wean our cows.
This purple henbit covers the fields around here in the spring. It's definitely a weed, but it sure looks nice, especially when you're a K-State fan. We've got a delivery today. We got a ripper coming from NutriDrip. Probably wondering, what do you need a ripper for? Well, it's the first step of installing drip irrigation. So we replaced these discs last year, so they are all good, but I wanted to change these Keaton seed firmers. See, I'm putting these new ones on, and it's easier to do if I just take the discs off. So I'm cleaning it out while I'm in here, checking these seed tube guards, and then replacing this with a new one, and then putting it back together. Everything seems shimmed correctly already. They really haven't wore down much from last year, so I'm happy about that. So that's kind of the first thing I'm doing. Fertilizer openers. Of course, we'll need to grease everything, and I'll need to adjust some of these gauge wheels closer or farther away. And then these, I'm planning on moving up a notch. So I've had them set up, placing fertilizer 3 inches off and an inch below the seed, Well, I realized that in hard ground, then this is actually holding. It's just too much to push into the ground, and then my seed wasn't getting as deep. And so I'm gonna put these even with the seed and 3 inches off, and it'll still be fertilizer in the ground, pretty close to the seed. I won't have to have as much down pressure to get placement. Then it's all just the little check over stuff, and we should be ready to roll. It's another year of, it's hard to know when is the right time to roll because it's way too warm for March. The ground is warm enough. If this was the Dakotas, we'd be rolling, but we have a long growing season. I would guess we will try to run next week some and maybe just take it easy again. Or maybe even the end of this week. I don't know, but we got plenty of stuff to do.
After we sell steers tomorrow, I'll have enough space in my load and in the pens for all these heifers. So I am bringing them up this afternoon. We do have a pen of heifers to put them by, and they will be sorted. Most of these 43 should sell within 2 weeks. It's not worth driving the feed truck down here anymore to feed just the one pen plus the group of heifers and bulls. So we're gonna go to hay feeding those heifers and bulls, and then get these back up on grower 2 ration at the home place. Does anybody else have a gate that sounds like Chewbacca? Bulls did not want to lead with a lick tub, so I'm chasing them with a pickup because this black bull not one to be messed with much. We got them trapped. Nathan drove straight through, had some winkle panel set up and some air equip along this fence line. They follow the feed truck right in. I think there's still a few stragglers following Nathan through the other side, so we'll catch them on this side. We ended up, we're gonna switch sides and put the ones we had caught on that side and use this wing again to catch the last 2 cows and like 7 calves. So 2 straggler cows and a few calves that I really didn't want to have to chase, but they're not leading very well. Pulling up, yep. Still got a pretty full on this side, and we gotta peel off what we're gonna load. Hey. Still sorting. We have hauled off 4 trailer loads of the ones that are ready to wean. Now that I have a little more space in this corral, I'm going to separate off the ones to that side that we're going to release back out on the wheat pasture, and then leave the ones that will still be loaded on a trailer on this side. That'll simplify things a little bit because some of these ones that have been wanting to go through have been in my way to get to the ones ready to wean. I'll be able to get them out of here, make these panels either smaller or get a different angle on those cows that haven't been loaded out yet. The cows, they love loading in this thing. Come on, cows. Calves takes a little prodding, but cows just line right up. Go on. These last 2 loads aren't going to be as full. Another trailer load going out. This is all we got left. Another load out.
I should put a jack on here and do it by hand. Just
all right, we got them home. This is the pen they're going to be in to their wean. Then we'll put the calves in the pen next to it for some fence line weaning. For now, we've got to transition them from wheat pasture eating to 100% ration because they were eating about half and half. Okay, so I'm officially done using this AirEquip peeler as my sorting corral this morning, along with the 38 pair that I hauled home. I'm gonna end up having to haul these ones. I have two calves tagged as 0-14, and I only have 1 cow that's that. And originally I thought it was just a mishap with the cow that was 0-4. Somehow, and I do have a cow that's missing a calf. Number 202 doesn't have a calf. I'm hoping that just this 0-14 calf is hers. That would be the simplest thing. But I don't want to turn them back out here if these two calves don't each have a perfectly tagged mom with them. So I'm gonna haul those 3 home. I'm dumping our bred heifers out here to be back on the wheat instead of eating ration in the bunk. Summary of the day is we're kicking the big pairs, big fall pairs off the wheat pasture, getting them home to wean. We're gonna leave the latest calving, the smaller 10 pairs, let them grow, let the calves grow with their moms for a little bit longer. And we're gonna put the bred heifers, 2 trailer worths of the bred heifers with them on the wheat. And so just utilizing the wheat with the best animals that we have. These cows were caught for several hours, but they get to be released. I need you ladies to teach these new bred heifers how to rotationally graze. Half of them know how to do it, the other half, this will be some training for them. So these bred heifers, they were fed this morning, so they're real full getting on the truck. So I brought home the cow that had 2 calves tagged 0-14. This cow had been bellering 2:45 when I put him in the pen and I came out after lunch. She's pretty convinced that this calf tagged as 014 is hers. I think I solved the mystery. Now I'm matched up 39 cows and 39 calves.
For Kansas State on 29 made field goals. That is elite. That's incredible team offense, and that is why Kansas State won this game. They were the better team overall.
All right, Steele and I are prepping this field by my house to go to drip irrigation. So the first step is to rip these lines. This is where the drip tape will go. And once they lay the drip tape, then we will pack each one of these lines down and then smooth it out, and it'll be ready to plant. But the reason we pre-rip is what it's called, is just so when they're installing, there's not a bunch of friction going underground. So this gets a path for the next step in the process.
It's a big day for the fall calving herd, but these cows are not to be forgotten. So they're done calving. The calves are running around the pen. So most of these have been pinned up since they were on corn stalks. And I'm gonna turn them out on green, make them real happy. Boys! Placement heifers and then the youngest fall pairs turning back out on the wheat after a day of sorting and moving around. On my way to church, it's a dangerous time to wear white shoes. They were fed this morning some ration, but cattle are always hungry for green wheat or triticale. So doing my morning routine, walked out, got my tractor going. Selling cattle today, so I gotta make sure to get them fed so they can get cleaned up before I need to load them out, hopefully before 10 a.m. I'm listening to the feeder flash with Corbin Wall. This kind of helps me stay in tune with the markets. I ran my break-evens so that I know what I can pay for calves today. I have different break-evens on ball-in calves, so off the cow, and then I have a different set that I run for heifers and a different set that I run for steers. There's a set for weaned steers and a set for off the cow steers, a set for weaned heifers and a set for off the cow heifers of what I'm willing to pay. And the difference about today though is that we do have a few puddles, only on the concrete, no puddles on really any of the gravel. It was measurable, but less than like 0.15. So here's the group to sell. In here. Yep. Trying to eat 4 bees feed. You can see the size difference between these little heifers and these big steers. Hey, that's our job. Take them from a little guy off the cow to a big guy ready for big time feed yard. Be finished on corn.
forecast is not that promising. Let's hope this wind blows in some rain.
All right, today I have gotten delivery of lots and lots of pipe.
My calves of the day. Who's the culprit? Who pooped in the bunk? Working the calves. I got 39 from Salina, and we got 31 from El Dorado. So pretty good set here. Guess I'll make that happen. Now working the Salina ones. We finished in like 30 minutes, the other group. I ended up buying the more colored ones, a lot of reds, and Josh was getting almost all black. So week to week, just depends on the market. There, good job, steers, turning around. Yeah. Guess I should do this zoomed out here. So we sorted off the smallest 23 flighty ones in there. They go down to this pen with a little tighter neck rail. This one's a home raised heifer, so she's real calm. But that one was real flighty when I first got her. We're training her. You're spilling it. What are you spilling it for? Okay, I got the rope out, which means I needed to doctor one. That calf don't look very good. But I got it roped, just drove up next to it, dropped the rope over it, and now I got to get the needle ready here. Now, not as good as my brother-in-law Walker, but I got that calf roped. I just kind of dropped the loop on its head. Sometimes I feel like I need him to come out here and rope calves for me.
1, 2, 3, 4, tractor! 1, 2, 3, 4, tractor! 1, 2, 3, 4, tractor!
To your plate. Turning 4 inches to meet the ground. Hey, steer!
It is Saturday morning. My dad and I decided we didn't want the calves to have to keep eating this kind of cow ration. We wanted them to get weaned and onto our grower 1 ration. Sorry about that wind. And so we are going to wean them this morning. And there's kind of a couple cooler nights coming, and that'll also kind of help them get at the bunk and keep eating. So a lot of the cows I was able to just sort off because they lined up eating at the bunk while I pushed the calves past them. Come on. So I'm putting them back in the pen now. The ones, like 2/3 of them are still, they sort themselves right off. Okay, working home raised fall calves. Good set in here. There's one of the biggest of the fall calves. Big old head, August steer calf. All right, while I was sorting, that 3-year-old got it done. Got a calf on the ground, so that makes 2 in this pen, this makeshift pen. So I just fed the calves grower 1, and Nathan fed the cows a cow ration. Some of the calves are back there picking on that straw. I wish they were up here at the bunk eating, but there's the fall set. I'm in Nathan's way. He says, get out of here. And then I slid those bulls back in with the cows until we preg check them. Just needed a pin for them. I didn't get up there in time. There's a guy aerial spraying over there. There he is. Caught him this time. I got my cows still on this, just 1/3 of an 80. And this area here is pretty good brome. The rest of the field's more native grass, but I did give them a lick tub that was left over from when they were on corn stalks. They haven't quite cleaned it up. I came to look at it. But I think they're getting plenty of protein here, and then when I'm supplementing them with the feed truck, has a little protein in it.
I got weeds in my alfalfa, but ours is just for the feeder cattle. They'll eat it. Over here it looks better. Double team. And I have moved on to corn burn downs. I've actually already sprayed a couple fields. Now I am spraying where I drilled the cover crop last fall. So always feels a little crazy when I'm doing this, but this is our irrigated, river irrigated field. So these stalks, the corn stalks are nice and broke down. I could wait till planting to burn this down, but with how it seems to be drying out again, I am doing it now. I didn't really want to risk planting green with corn. I'm more willing to do it with beans. Picked up some excess nitrogen, blocked out some weeds. Now we will kill it. Right now the wheat has a higher or a lower C to N ratio, and will help continue to help break down those corn stalks that are high. I'm also using some nitrogen as a carrier for my herbicide mix, so I hope everything works. It's kind of, we're always just learning. So my pivot is over there walking over to the highway. The light is not on because when I started it, this light bulb was not even up in the socket. It had fallen down in the little canister that holds it, and it's full of water. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it. It has water in it. I cannot really understand how that's possible, but whatever. This is my last field of the day, so I really hope my load comes out pretty close, and then I can rinse my tank. And then it's supposed to be rainy or windy for like a week. Tomorrow we're gonna try to get the planter all ready to go, and maybe go plant for the folks we custom plant for. You can see some purple henbit out here, so it's probably good to kill that too. I don't know, it's kind of like a free cover crop. That stuff grows everywhere around here.
Probably by the end of the week I will flip-flop these ones from being on the south end to being back on the north end for the time being. Just gonna be hauling water to them here. So I filled this up to a little over 2,000 gallon, and then they still had water in the poly tank, so I just brought over, this tank had stayed here, so I'll hope that they empty that other tank before I move it over here.
Getting some ripping done. Should be the last day of doing this. As you saw in the drone video, 5 rows at a time, and about 5 miles an hour. So it takes a while to cover the whole field. For us no-till farmers who are used to covering ground at 100+ feet with the sprayer at 9 miles an hour, it's a lot slower to do it this way, but we're prepping the soil. I'm gonna put drip lines in these same paths as the ripper.
I'm gonna pick up screenings from the local wheat mill. everything that doesn't get made into flour. Okay, this pen is mostly heifers, but I know there's at least somewhere between 15 and 20 steers on here, and I'm wanting to put those steers with another group of steers, and then these heifers will fill a pen on their own. They're doing some of that sort of day. My dad should be here any minute. I told Nathan I didn't need his help. I don't want to keep him from getting his spraying done. So there is some old railroad rock here that we are piling up. We ran out of our other rock. We dug out of a different pasture that had railroad rock in it. Well, we're gonna do this pasture now. Got another good bunch of heifers for sale this week. December and January purchased cattle. All right, it is preg checking day. The wind has really picked up from this morning, but it's time for the bulls to get their report card to fall. That's the way I know I get cows out of the pen is to call them instead of chasing them. So I was definitely a little nervous for this breed up because I had my bulls split up into two different groups instead of having multiple bulls with the whole group. But both bulls passed the test. A lot of 3 and 4 months along, some pushing 5, and then a couple 2 to 3. I kept one cow that was kind of short-bred, that was maybe questionable, and I had 2 cows. They're all stirred up behind me. And I have 2 older open cows, so no young cows showed up open, which is really good. Really good thing. So here's the 2 culls. The one is a coming 10-year-old. She's like the biggest cow in my herd, 516. And then that other one, she's like 12 or 13 years old. And I almost culled her last year because she had kind of a small calf. Well, then she raised one of the bigger calves this year, but then she showed up open. So those are my 2 that I'll feed out to fatten them up with some silage, ration for a while before selling them. I'm putting these cows back in the pen. They got Declamax, they got cleanup as a pour on for their skin. They got a vaccine. Walking past all these heifers to sell in 2 days. Really hoping that these dusty conditions, it blows dust, not just from fields, but from roads, from winds, just blows dust from anywhere. Really hoping that this storm blows in some place.
What you been doing?
Get the planter ready. I got all these fertilizer openings moved up a notch so that I thought they were too deep last year in keeping the row unit out of the ground when the ground was hard. Hopefully we'll get some rain so the ground won't be so hard, but either way, I wanted to move them up. So it was a little hard work because when you have fertilizer on a planter, it kind of makes bolts sticky. So that took a while, but they're all done now. So now we're gonna get it greased. We're gonna get the corn plates in. We're gonna check all the. I already checked the opener blades. I think I filmed that, and then we're gonna check the gauge wheels, make sure they're in line right, and we should be ready to go. But now it's supposed to rain, so now we're gonna have to sit around and wait.
Yeah, but let it rain.
Yeah, we will take the rain.
And I hooked the tractor back up to the planter when I got out here. I've been using that tractor to rip, and it was over at my house, and so got it back here all done with the prep work for the drip irrigation. They're either going to install it tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, or if it rains tonight, which it might, we might have to wait till next week. So we've got a couple chances of rain coming up here in the next 3-4 days. What'd you mess up something?
It's just tighter than I thought.
So I've been over at my house doing stuff basically the last 4 or 5 days. Dad and Kendall, I'm sure Kendall's been filming it. They've been hauling a bunch of gravel from an old railroad site in one of our pastures. And cow stuff. There's always cow stuff. And then Nathan's been doing shop work, getting the planter ready to go.
So today we sorted those heifers. We got 80 to sell. 60 some went back in the pen. Then after lunch, preg checked these cows. They're getting another meal here this evening. Not gonna take those right off to grass like we do some years. Gonna feed them dry lot here for a little bit until we see how long that triticale lasts. And got the heifers consigned for the sale in 2 days. And those 2 cows that will be cold, I put them in a heifer pen, so they will actually get some Grower 2 ration that has some corn in it, and that will flesh them up pretty quick to where they'll be ready to sell in a couple weeks. Hoping to add a couple, you know, at least flesh them up 100 or 200 pounds to them.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Check out our music videos linked in the description. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, and explore our website, www.petersonfarmbrothers.com. See you guys next time.